No, a good Yom Tov to everyone. It's Gimel Tammuz, the 3rd of Tammuz, and we see that when we come to such a day, the day speaks for itself. There's definitely we have the we have this chus, we have the merit of gathering ourselves together, all congregations all over the world, and in honor of the Rebbe's day, in honor of Gimel Tammuz. But the day speaks for itself. It's a day that farbreingen is something that comes on a natural basis. In other words, it's coming milamayla lamata, like we see in Hasidic philosophy. It's coming from above downward. But the Rebbe doesn't allow us to suffice with all the great revelations that are coming from above downward. Shalom Aleichem, Rebbetzin Katz. Best regards to your husband. I understand he's also in Florida, but I guess he doesn't have he doesn't have a good connection over there. So otherwise, he would be with us right now on the Shir. When we're talking about the concept of Gimel Tammuz or any Hasidic date, the Rebbe doesn't allow us to suffice with the revelations from above. The Rebbe tells us that we have to go b'derech hateva in the channels of nature, and we have to go and we have to arouse the concept from below. In other words, we have to get together in order to go and to speak. Why do we have to speak? The day speaks for itself because this is our schus. It's our merit. It's the reward. It's that the Eibishter wants to give us in order to go and to be able to have some type of a participation in this colossal day. In this colossal day, we're talking about the concept of the concept that goes back all the way to the times of Yehoshua. We know that on Gimel Tammuz, Yehoshua, when they were conquering Eretz Yisrael, so there was a war that Yehoshua was leading, and Yehoshua decided to pray and to go and to make an outright miracle. Shemesh begivayin doim. The sun should stand in Givayin, v'yareach be'emek Ayalon, and the moon should stand in the valley of Ayalon. I guess that's somewhere on the Ayalon highway. Who knows? Not sure. I think maybe it's a little more to another direction. But what was the purpose of the miracle? The purpose of the miracle was that the soldiers that were in the middle of a battle would be able to be victorious. Now, what is the concept of being victorious? Being victorious, in other words, they would have the edge over the enemy during the day. When it comes nightfall, so you have all kinds of guerrilla warfare. If you don't know the territory, the people that are living there know it better than the people that have just arrived, and they have the edge. But when it comes nightfall, so Yoshua decided that the night is not going to come until the battle is over and the Jewish nation is going to be victorious over the enemy. Now, the biggest question, and this is the question that goes on in history, we'll be mentioning it in the continuation. The biggest question is, what was the purpose of going and stopping the sun that it shouldn't set, stopping the moon that it shouldn't rise in the heavens? You want your army to win in the battle, so go pray to Hashem and have your army win the battle. What are you changing? It's called Maisa Bereshis, the act of the creation. The moon and the sun has been moving, and they have been rotating, and they've been in their galactic course for ages now. And all of a sudden, you want to go and win a battle, so you're going to stop the moon, you're going to stop the sun, and win the battle. You're asking for a miracle anyway. So go and ask that they should win their battle. What are you stopping the moon, the sun? Let them win by night. And if that's not enough, we go back in history to an earlier point. We just read it recently in Parshas Korach. when there was the big dispute, the rebellion of Korach and all his congregation. So what does Hashem do? They went and they disputed the kihuna. They disputed the fact that Aaron is the high priest, and they decided they wanted to go and to bring Mashiach early, like we learned last week. They wanted to go and to show that the words of the prophet Yechezkel, that they already knew. Korach he had the power of prophecy. He wasn't a pushover. He was a big Talmud Chacham. He was a very wealthy person, but he had prophecy as well. He knew that Shmuel the prophet, Shmuel Hanavi, is going to come from his children. So he said, Yechezkel says that in the time to come, after the sin of the sin of the golden calf, only the Levites, only the Levim were chosen to work in the Oil Mayad, in the tent of the tent of meeting, in the tabernacle. And the Kohanim were the ones that have the exclusive service. But it says that in the future, in the time to come, the Levites, the Levim, are going to be the Kohanim. They're going to be the ones serving in the Beis Hamikdash. It only got changed around because Moshe Rabbeinu said that Aaron is not going to receive him with a happy face when he went back to Egypt to go and to tell them that Hashem is taking them out of Mitzrayim. So then Hashem said, you have qualms, you have doubts about your brother? Okay, Aaron, he is going to be the Kohen, and his seed is going to be Kohanim. You, Moshe, you come from as a Levi. You're not going to be working. Your children are not going to be working in the Beis Hamikdash. But when is that going to be returned? In the time to come. In time to come, in the Geula Teichit from Yad Mamish, in the Geula Shlema Vamitis. Okay, so Korach wanted to bring the Geula now. The dispute was not a dispute, obviously, because when you want to do something, even if it's the most wonderful thing, you want to go and after the phenomena, the tragic phenomena of the spies going into Eretz Yisrael, coming back and telling, going and speaking, libels against the land of Israel. So there was a decree that the nation of Israel is not going to enter the land of Israel, and they're going to have to go around the desert 40 years. There were people, if I'm not mistaken, from the tribe of Binyamin, the Ma'apilim, Ephraim or Binyamin, I think it's Binyamin. They decided that they're going to go and to rectify the situation. How do you correct the situation? The spies came back and they spoke blasphemy about the land of Israel, even to the extent that they Kavyochel, they spoke against Hashem. You don't go into the land, we will go into the land. And they said, here we are. Here, yeah, and we're going to go up and we're going to enter the land. Moshe Rabbeinu said, don't even try. It's not going to work. Because Hashem already made the decree. And if Hashem's not with you, if Hashem's not with us, we can't go into the land. The people there are fierce. It's not that they were weak people in the land of Israel. We're talking about the Amalekites. We're talking about Sichon, Og. He said, you're going to go in now. The Amalekites are going to devour you. They said, no, nevertheless, we have the willpower. We're going to go in. And we know what happened afterwards. There was something like maybe 22,000 of the tribe of Binyamin that were removed from the world because of something that was wishful thinking. But it has to be in synchronization with Moshe Rabbeinu. When Moshe Rabbeinu says something, so this is this is the situation, this is the status at this moment. And even if it was 40 days before the spies came back, even though if what might have been different, it changed. How do we know? Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu, everything has been changed, and there was a decree. Okay, let's get back to what we want. What happened on Gimel Tammuz in that time? Last week's parsha. Every one of the heads of the tribes put their staffs in oil mayed. Aaron put his staff, and Aaron's staff, all of a sudden, it says, porach, it had blossoms. Seats. There was the bud of the fruit, and it brought forth fruit. It brought forth almonds. Why almonds? Because almonds, the fruit of the almond is the fruit that from the time that it starts bearing the fruit, it grows the most intensive and the most speedily. I believe 21 days. That's all it takes from the time that it comes out until it's already a fruit. And what does Hashem say? Hashem says this is going to be this staff of Aaron you should put with the Aaron Kodesh, with the Holy Ark, and with the other four things that were there, as a testimony that no one should come and dispute the look at this, Baruch Hashem. No one should come and dispute the Kehuna. We're talking about the Kehuna, and all of a sudden our Kohen arrives. Shalom Aleichem. Bruchim Abayim. No one should dispute the Kehuna. Where do we know this? From the staff of Aaron. Okay, Rabbi Sai, there were many miracles that happened in the course of Korach going and being swallowed up by the earth. And we had the Korach and his family was swallowed up by the earth, and the 250 people of the heads of the Sanhedrin of Reuven, they were also burnt up. Their souls left their bodies because they were offering the incense, which was forbidden. They weren't commanded to do so. So the Rebbe asked the question: you want to go and you want to prove your point. You want to go and show that there's no dispute against the Kohanim. So good, go and have the staff bring forth fruit. Why do you have to have the whole 9 yards? It has to have blossoms on the staff. On the staff, you had blossoms. You had the buds. The beginning of you saw the beginning of the fruit coming out of the blossom. And you had also fruit on the staff. What do you need to have all the stages of the fruit? You want to show that there's a miracle, put the fruit on the staff. Let it be, coming out from the staff. Why do you have to have the blossoms? Why do you have to have the buds? There's no logical reason. And this is the same concept that we mentioned in regard to Yoshua. Why do you have to? You want to win the battle? Pray that they should win the battle, even after sunset, even after the moon comes up. Why do you have to stop? And we know how great the miracle was. If we'll just mention, but in passing, but this is one of the greatest miracles in the history of the universe. When we're talking about the sun stopping, the moon stopping in their course, the sun not setting, the moon not coming up in the heavens. We're not just talking about mundane course of creation, sun, moon. We're talking about the spiritual hemisphere. We're talking about the songs of the angels, because the angels had to sing their song before the sun will set and before the moon will come up. And the angel said, who's going to sing our song? Yoshua said, don't worry. I'll take care of your song. I'll sing your song. You just be quiet. sit on the sidelines, because my army has to win the battle right now. You want to win the battle, like we said, pray that they should win the battle by night. You don't have enough time, so good. But you're going to make miracles. You're stopping the entire Seder Shtalshalus, the entire chain of creation from Bereshis bara Elokim es hashamayim v'sa'aretz, from the beginning where Hashem created the heavens and the earth. What's going on? And it's a danger for the existence of the world. Because if these angels don't sing their song, then the world doesn't have a source of existence. The sun has to set and the moon has to rise. And this was the same concept also the Rebbe tells us with the Frierdiker Rebbe, the third Gimel Tammuz in history. When the Frierdiker Rebbe comes and he was told that he was allowed to go out of jail, and he was able to go and to visit his family, and then he would get on a train. When he was told that the train's going to arrive, Kastrama, the city of exile that he was decreed upon, it's going to arrive after Shabbos, after the Shabbos comes in. The Frierdiker Rebbe said, "No, I'm not going." He said, "You crazy?" Chas v'sholom to say something about like this about the Frierdiker Rebbe, but any other person, even halachically, when there's a doubt of pikuach nefashis, and over here there wasn't really even a doubt. There were people that wanted to go and to exterminate Chabad and to exterminate Lubavitch and exterminate the leader of Chabad and Lubavitch, the Frierdiker Rebbe, Rabbi Yosef Yitzchok Schneerson. And for him to go back into jail, to go return to the lion's den, and to wait after Shabbos to leave for his city of exile, Kastrama, on Gimel Tammuz, that was the day that he actually left. That was a danger to his very existence. No, he said, "I'm staying here. I'm not going to go." Halachically, it was permissible according to certain days, according to certain opinions. And even if it wasn't so, it was a danger. It was a danger either way. And he decides to stay in the danger. They were looking for a possibility that there'll be an accident and then he'll be shot. And the Frierdiker Rebbe writes in his writings how they sent him actually initially to the firing squad down the hall, and he happened to sit down and to talk to one of the workers there. And then when they finished talking, he said, "Wow, they told you to go down there. There must be a mistake over here. You should go over here. Take a different door. Take a different turn in the corridor. Anyone that goes through that door is shot." And the person that the Frierdiker Rebbe was speaking to was the one that shoots. And he was telling the Frierdiker Rebbe, "I don't think you should go through that door. You seem to be a nice person, a proper person, a loyal person. That's only for people that are going against the communist regime. That's not you." The whole concept was in order for later on to find out that this was the beginning of the Geula. People didn't know that the Frierdiker Rebbe, in his dossier, he was sentenced to the opposite of life. And only afterwards he was sentenced to 10 years of being in exile. And then it was marked again off. And it was only for 3 years in Kastrama, which was also changed. And it was only at the end 10 days in Kastrama, coming up to Yud Beis Gimel Tammuz. But what's interesting over here is that all of these situations, all of these scenarios in history, they could have all been fixed. They could have all been put in their proper manner on a miraculous basis. So why did everything have to be according to the course of nature? Because this is what the Eibishter wants. This is what Hashem wants in this world. He doesn't want the miraculous heavenly powers to go and to overthrow the course of nature, because this is what Hashem created the world for, that there should be a course in the channel of nature, and that there should be a Jewish nation that will work through the course and the channel of nature, and through the channels of nature, to overcome the darkness, to illuminate the darkness, not even to overcome the darkness, to illuminate the darkness. And this is what the staff of Aaron was proving. This is the instruction from the staff of Aaron. There have to be flowers, blossoms, and there have to be buds, and then there has to be a fruit. All the stages. And there has to be afterwards that no one will dispute the kihuna. And also in the war, in Gimel Tammuz, in the war that Yeshua was leading, there has to be a battle, and there has to be a battle against the enemy, and there has to be a victory against the enemy in the course of nature, in the channels of nature, which was how? It has to be by day, not by night. By night, it was like 99.999, according to the channels of nature, that they're going to lose the war, the battle. So Yeshua stops the entire course of time. The angels don't sing. And he says, this is going to be the ability for us to win in the course of nature. There were miracles that occurred, but the miracles also were engarmed within the course of nature, so that this miracle will be just the side issue, so we will win in the channels of nature. The Frierdiker Rebbe, he should have left jail. He should have ran out of there. And there's even, the Rebbe mentions, the Frierdiker Rebbe could have left jail. He had time to go and to visit his family. First, get out of the lion's den. And afterwards, you're going to visit your family. They told you you're going to go and you're going to arrive in the city of exile on Shabbos, but you have time Thursday afternoon before you get on the train. You're going to be by your family. You'll come up with an eitzah. You'll come up with some type of a strategy, what to do and how to do. No. The whole war, the whole battle against the communist regime was that they wanted compromises in Yiddishkeit, and they wanted to go into chisel down Judaism. They didn't want Judaism to stand. The great scientists, the professors in the universities, they received courses. There wasn't one professor that was not allowed to go and to be a physicist or a historian without taking the course of atheism. The course of atheism, not only to know and to realize the concept of Rahman al-Islam, of the fact that what atheism preaches, but to go and to be able to have the power to educate others. This was the course for every single doctor, professor, every single university teacher, without any exceptions. Because this is what the communists wanted to go and to uproot, the uprooting of Hashem, chas v'sholem, in this world. So if there was going to be a compromise, and even if the Frierdiker Rebbe would find a way not to go and to desecrate Shabbos, the fact that now he was agreeing, he was told he was going to arrive on Shabbos, he had time to visit his family, but he was agreeing to go into chas v'sholem to desecrate Shabbos. This would be the victory that the communists were looking for. This would be not only a material, mundane victory for them, but this will be the victory up in heaven against everything that the Frierdiker Rebbe standed for, and everything that the Rebbe stands for. And this is what we're told in regard to Gimel Tammuz in our day and age. Like we see in regard to every single step of the way. The Rebbe came, the Rebbe prepared us. The Rebbe already in the Sichos told us that Gimel Tammuz is not a day of sadness. Then the Hasidim didn't know. They didn't know what was the history in the dossier, that this was the beginning of the Frierdiker Rebbe's Geula. They didn't know that he was sentenced to death, to the opposite of life. They didn't know that he was supposed to be another 10, 11 years in another city of exile. For them, the Rebbe is going to exile. He's going to be there for 3 years. Everyone was literally, as they say in Hebrew, al hapanim. We were totally devastated, the Chassidim then. Only afterwards the Rebbe comes and teaches us that this was the beginning of the Geula. And so also it represents the beginning of the Geula for the Rebbe as well, for us as well. The fact that we don't see doesn't mean anything. Adarabah, the Rebbe tells us we have to open our eyes and we have to start understanding. We have to take under consideration. We have to acknowledge what's going on around us. And we'll see the great miracles that Moshiach is already bringing about in the world. All the great miracles that the Rebbe mentions, from the 6-day war to the Yom Kippur war, to the disarmament of the nuclear weapons, and to the fall of the Russian regime that stood for 70 years. And the Jews going out from there and being able to go out to wherever they want and to study, the main thing, to study Torah there in Russia without any fear, without any inhibitions. This is what Gimel Tammuz is all about. A time to go into, to take the time to strengthen our connection with the Rebbe and the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach, to go into to strengthen our service in the ways that the Rebbe has given us to strengthen our service. Hafotzas Mayonas Chutzah, spreading the wellsprings of the Baal Shem Tov. Hafotzas Hayadus, spreading Yiddishkeit to all four corners of the universe, wherever we can reach. If it's in our own home, if it's on a Zoom channel that you can reach all over the world. This is what strengthening our connection with the Rebbe is all about. And this specifically, learning Moshiach and Geula, all the concepts of Moshiach and Geula in the Niglish Torah, the revealed parts of the Torah, and the hidden secrets of the Torah, in Kabbalah, in Chassidus, in the teachings of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach. This is what the Rebbe is propagating and giving us the instruction here and now to do. And we're promised, the Rebbe says, that we're promised that here and now we're going to have the revelation of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach. We'll have the Geula Shleima V'Amitis. We'll have the third and the eternal Beis HaMikdash. And we'll have Yom Shekule Shabbos U'Menucha L'Chaye Ha'Ilomim, a day of total rest from all mundanity, and we'll be able to sit down and we'll be able to study Torah and observe the mitzvahs without any disturbances. Bezras Hashem. This is what Mashiach is all about. This is what the Geula is all about. Right now, till that moment, which is this moment, comes, we still have work. We have to intensify our work, and we have to be stronger in everything that we do. And this is going to bring Teichef Miyad Mamash, the Izgolos of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach. I want to tell one, maybe 2, 3 short stories that were revealed to me last week. We went to Rabbi Gershon Fried, who is the representative of the Rebbe in sports here in Eretz Yisrael, also in Chutz La'aretz. So we went to the city of Afula. There were 150 young boys that come religiously to play football, soccer. Every week they have the it's called the NOAR, the youth sports groups, and we were specially invited in order to go in to address the groups, and to speak to them about Torah, mitzvahs, to give them a little something special. We gave them the 12 psukim, a card with the 12 psukim and something sweet to be able to eat. But while they were after it was divided up into 2 programs, half and half. And while there was a group that finished, they went to play the parents against the children. They had a game, the parents against the children, in soccer. So while they were playing, the leaders, the menalim, the administrators, they had free time, And one of them sat down next to me. Actually, both of them sat down next to me, and he starts telling me, "You think that I invite you just out of the goodness of my heart to come and to speak here, and you come all the way from Tzfas and so on? I'll tell you a story." He says he comes from Moshav Avital in the Ta'anachim. That's also in the Afula area. And there was a Rabbi Yadgar of Sholem that lived there. He received a special bracha from the Rebbe to give blessings to Jews. And it was known that the blessings that he gave, they came to fruition. And he told me about his parents. He said his parents were married for 10 years at the beginning. They had no children. And they weren't observant yet. Even now, he tells me they're not that observant, moderately. But the fact of the matter is that their friends were already saying, "Listen, you're already 10 years together. There's no children. Maybe you should split up and start individual families, and maybe you'll receive a blessing on each person on their own, with another partner in life." They weren't willing to give up. So what happened is someone told them about Rabbi Yadgar. They went to Rabbi Yadgar and they asked for his blessing. Rabbi Yadgar, with pleasure, gave his blessing that they should have children. He says a year went by and they had their first child. That wasn't him. A second year went by, and this is all after the 10 years. A second year went by and they had their second child. And he tells me that 10 years went by. Year after year, they had a child, 10 children all in all. And he knows exactly where he's positioned. He says, and I'm the fourth. I'm the fourth child from the blessing of the Rebbe, he tells me. And this is how I express my gratitude to the Rebbe, because I know how important it is that these children should not only come in order to kick a ball on the grass and to kick it into a goal, but they should have something something Jewish, that they should have some Yiddishkeit. And so this was the first story that I heard over there. The next story was with this same person's father. This same person's father, even before he got married, he went for a trip to the United States with a friend. And while he was in the United States, that wasn't for the purpose, but they decided they're going to visit the Rebbe. They went and they visited the Rebbe. They even received $1 from the Rebbe. Actually, they received $2 each from the Rebbe. But then he tells me, this is the testimony of his father, who is now something like 79 years old, but should have Arichus Yomim V'Shanim Tevis. He says that then they were standing downstairs in the at the entrance where the Rebbe comes in to 770 downstairs in order to go and to pray to daven mincha. And they're standing there, and he's telling me like unbelievable details. He says the Rebbe entered the hall, and all of a sudden you saw that it was all packed with people. All of a sudden you see that the people moved to the sides, and there was the splitting of the Reed Sea, he tells me. There was a path that was made. You couldn't move, he tells me, a moment before. But when the Rebbe came, a splitting of the Reed Sea, there was a path that was formed. We know the path, those that know, and those that had the merit of being by the Rebbe and seeing, not only then, but even now, you have the splitting of the Reed Sea and the path that is made for the Rebbe before each service, before each davening. But what was phenomenal was, he tells me, the Rebbe went by them and suddenly stopped. The Rebbe stopped. He turned to his friend, the father's friend. Okay. He turned to his father's friend and he calls him by his name. He says, Aryeh. And the Rebbe says to Aryeh, why are you not observing Shabbos yet? Now, this is something which is totally off the wall as far as anything that I've heard or people usually hear, because the Rebbe usually doesn't come and make a demand from people. And here the Rebbe is looking at him, and the Rebbe calls him by his name, and he says, Arya, why are you not observing Shabbos yet? Aryeh, the father's friend, was in total shock, because he would like to observe Shabbos, but he wasn't observing Shabbos yet. But the fact of the matter is, he didn't understand. How does the Rebbe know that he's not observing Shabbos? And how does the Rebbe know him? How does the Rebbe know it to call him by his name? He had no communications with the Rebbe, no previous communications with the Rebbe, apparently. And he says to his friend, he says, Arya, why are you not observing Shabbos yet? To say the least, this Arya today, he's not only observing Shabbos, he's already a Baal Tshuva, observing all the mitzvahs, Baruch Hashem. And this was the second story that I heard. Then there was a third story, which was from the other administrator in the sports of the youth. And he tells me like this. He says his father also received $1 from the Rebbe. This was Arya's. This was Arya's the friend of Arya, and these $2 were kept under lock and key by his mother. And the mother only took the dollars out during the course of the years if there was chas v'sholom, a child that was not well, or there was a child that was going abroad. You know, people buy insurance and so on. This for her was the best shmira, the best guarding and the best insurance over her children if they were going overseas is the Rebbe's dollar. And obviously it was on condition that they watch over it and they bring it back to her upon their return. So this other the other sports administrator is telling me he was 18 years old. He's a young guy. He says it was the year 2004. Okay, he was 18 years old then, and he arrived in the United States, and he's traveling from coast to coast, and he arrives in a in a central bus station, and he feels that he's going to faint. Why is he going to faint? Because he hasn't eaten anything for a long time. Yeah, people are having a good time, so they forget about themselves. They forget about what they have to do. Like we were speaking about earlier, we have to eat, we have to drink, we have to sleep, we have to go out, we have to breathe fresh air. So this fellow, this young man, 18-year-old, forgets about himself, and he arrives at a point where he is about to fall off his feet, flat on his face. And he thought that he was going to die. So there were vending machines, that have snacks, and you can to buy food. And he runs over to one of the vending machines. He opens up his wallet, and he says, "Gewalt, I don't have a penny to my name." He didn't have any money, excepting for $1 that he had, which was the dollar of the Rebbe. And he starts saying to himself, what am I going to do? I can't, I have to give this dollar back to my mother. I can't spend the Rebbe's dollar. I'm going to buy food with. And then he says to himself, just the opposite. It's like, you can say it was remarkable the way he went and justified himself. He said, I was a young boy. I was only 18 years old. And he says, maybe this was the whole purpose, that the Rebbe gave my father the dollar and that my mother gave me the Rebbe's dollar now, so that I'll be able to preserve my life, that I won't die. I'll be able to buy some food in order to go into to be able to exist, to continue to live in this world. And with that, he took the dollar out of his wallet. He went and to the opening, put the dollar into the opening of the vending machine, and the dollar was sucked up into the machine, and he's looking at the buttons, what button to push in order to buy food to eat. As he's looking at the buttons, the vending machine makes a very strange sound. It starts buzzing. And then all of a sudden he looks down and he sees that the vending machine spat out the dollar that he put in. It spat out the Rebbe's dollar. He's getting uptight, but he said, okay, maybe there was a problem with the machine. Takes the dollar, the Rebbe's dollar again, puts it into the machine, and he's about to push the button that he already decided to push in order to get his food. And again, the machine, once, a second time, a third time, it makes the buzzing sound, and the machine spits out the Rebbe's dollar. He's going crazy because he really is so hungry. So he says, this machine is broken. He goes to another two vending machines. He tries the second vending machine, spits out the dollar. He goes to a third vending machine. It spits out the dollar 3 times, and he starts banging like he's already going meshuggah. He needs food. And he's banging on the machine. Someone told me afterwards, if you bang enough on the machine, sometimes the food just falls out. But I guess he didn't know that. He bangs and bangs and bangs. And all of a sudden, from behind, someone shows up, and he asks him, what's going on? Why are you banging on the machine? He says, I tried all 3 machines, and none of the machines are accepting my dollar. I need to buy food. I'm dying. So the person said, what's the problem? Put your dollar away. The person opens up his wallet and says, here, take $5. He gives him a $5 bill. Take $5, buy whatever you need, eat. And he says that with the $5, the machine received the money, and he even gave him change, and he had what to eat. But he came to the same conclusion. He said, when the Rebbe gives something to someone, when the Rebbe gives $1, when the Rebbe gives a coin to someone, the Rebbe is not just giving $1 in order to propagate the giving of tzedakah. That's a very important thing on its own. And he's not only to go giving the dollar so that this person will have a blessing in some specific area, some specific field in life. This dollar is intrinsically connected to the neshama of this person. And it's not something that you can just go and give away, even if it's going to preserve your life. It's something that is connected to you. And this is something that you cannot just forget about. And he came to this conclusion on his own, 18-year-old boy. And this is something that we have to also understand. When the Rebbe goes and gives a bracha, he gives us a bracha. When the Rebbe gives, how much more so, a dollar, a coin. When the Rebbe goes and gives out booklets, Tanyas, people, Baruch Hashem, I can testify for myself. I received booklets from the Rebbe's. I had schus of receiving Tanyas from the Rebbe. It's not just another book or booklet or dollar bill. It's a chelik elokah mimal mabesh that is in this mundane object that the Rebbe is giving, that is connected to our neshama, to our soul. There are situations, the Rebbe said to Rabbi Zusha Rifkin, alav shalom, from Kfar Chabad, there were a certain amount of dollar bills that were left over from the inauguration of the of the shul of Beis Menachem in Kfar Chabad, and Rabbi Rifkin asked the Rebbe, what should he do with all the dollar bills? Because there were people, for one reason or another, we won't get into the fine print, that decided that it's not right to come and to be present at the inauguration of Beis Menachem. Doesn't matter why. But he had many dollar bills that were left over that he didn't give out. The Rebbe said, you can give people from those dollar bills that are left over, but on one condition, that you receive for every dollar that you give out a very large sum in return. And when the Rebbe says large sum, we're talking about a very, very large sum. Okay, so there are exceptions to the rule and so on, but this is what Gimel Tammuz is all about. When we don't have the opportunity, we don't have the ability. There are those that have, even after Gimel Tammuz, in the past 30 years. But on a general basis, on a natural basis, for us to be able to go and to see the Rebbe, it demands opening of the eyes on a colossal basis, on a universal basis. But the fact is that the Rebbe is here. And the fact is that the Rebbe is in his office, and the fact of the matter is that the Rebbe is giving us blessings, one blessing after the other. People all over the world are opening up Igros Kodesh. People all over the world are going into the igros.com website. And we're talking about not hundreds, not thousands, tens of thousands a day that are asking for the Rebbe's guidance, the Rebbe's instruction, the Rebbe's bracha. People don't get married without the Rebbe's bracha. People don't buy a home without the Rebbe's bracha. People don't go into any type of medical situation without the Rebbe's bracha. And with the Rebbe's bracha, they go out. They're able to go into to heal themselves from the medical situations that they might chas v'sholom find themselves in. People need blessings in Parnasa. They receive the Rebbe's brachas. They receive it on a regular basis. This is what Gimel Tammuz is all about. The connection that we have with the Rebbe is so great, so grand, that it is not mugbal, it is not limited. There's no boundaries. There are no boundaries to this connection anymore. It's not going and arriving in 770 only. It's also arriving in 770 today. But it's a person that is on the other side of the universe, opens up Igros Kodesh and receives the Rebbe's bracha. Miracles. Baruch Hashem, miracles. We should have the biggest and the greatest of miracles with the revelation of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach on a good and revealed basis. B'teiv anir v'nigla, on a good and revealed basis. Mitoch simcha v'tuv levav, with happiness and joy of the heart. B'mnuchas hanefesh u'mnuchas haguf, with the tranquility of the mind, of the body, and the soul. And it should be, the main thing, it should be teichef umiyad, mamish, immediately now. Yechi Adoneinu, Einu v'Rabbeinu, HaMelech HaMoshiach, Chai v'Kayom, le'olam voed. Amen. Good Yom Tov, good Yom Tov.